All right, how you doing, guys? So what we're talking about here on the front of a 2020 Super Duty, they have this unique kind of newer shaped grill, a little different than the 17, and we're going to go over mounting lights right on the top edge, on the other edges here, like we're doing on this particular grill. It's a nice spot, keeps the wiring easy to get to, so when the grill has to come off for service, if you leave some slack in the wiring coiled up kind of over by the battery over here, by the upfitter switches, you can then undo that slack and remove the grill that way, or you can elect to put a connector behind each light, totally up to you. So first thing we'll run over, tools of the trade. I have my TIR-3 light. I've prepared that light with our adhesive waterproof heat shrink and some uninsulated butt connectors, wrapped it up with some Tessa tape, extended it with our 22-5 power control wire, so that way I will be powering it off of the auxiliary switches. If you didn't have auxiliary switches, you just have to do a little bit longer extension and bring this wire into the cabin of the truck through the firewall. We have a Unibit, we have a Phillips Bit, we have the included Phillips screws and gasket, and we have the light. One of the first things I failed to mention, you're going to take off a handful of these. I like to use one of these to get rid of this, the cover. We'll get rid of that right away, and that'll get you exposed and easier to run the wiring. Alrighty, so as you can see, our TIR-3s, the wire doesn't come out exactly in the center, so measure twice, drill once. We're drilling about a 3/8 hole right here, and that's going to allow the wiring to pass through the grill and come out the back area, much like this. We're going to run that wiring, bringing everything through. We're going to install the foam gasket, and we're going to install it with these factory-equipped stainless steel screws. I find it to be easier to drill a 16th-inch pilot hole in each side before installing those stainless screws, especially when you get close to the edge of plastics like this. You can crack them if you don't do it the other way. So drill your 16th-inch hole and then install your screws. Now, when you're tightening down any light, use a little caution. Just tighten it down to snug this gasket. Don't go bananas on it and use a power drill. You'll strip out the screw or you'll damage the light. So you just want to go snug enough to compress the gasket all the way around. Make sure the gasket's fitting nicely. And lastly, don't forget to take off the protective cover that's usually included on all of our lights. We'll run this wiring back here along behind the headlight, and we'll either leave extra slack in the wiring, like I said, or put a connector here, depending on whatever you like. And we're going to connect these to the auxiliary switches, or as I said, run them into the cabin if you don't have auxiliary switches. So here's what we have for our final look. Once the lights are installed, you can see they tuck in very nicely right up underneath the hood on the outer edges there, and they end up just about flush with the edge of the hood, as you can see here. Thanks for watching. This is a little tutorial on how to mount our TIR-3 lights on the front of the 2020 newer Super Duty grills, much like this one. See you guys in the next video.